Hello everyone and welcome. Today I wanted to talk about two books about exorcism. It's Come Closer, Sara Gran and A Head Full of Ghosts by Tremblay. Sara Gran, I read this year. I know that she published this book, I think 2006, and it reminded me so much of Tremblay, not because they're similar, but because they're both great stories about exorcism. I will start with the book Come Closer by Sara Gran. The story follows Amanda. She's an architect and she is happily married. Her husband Ed, they live together in the loft, I believe. And they just live this calm life. They're happily married, etc. And then one day Sarah is called by her boss, and the boss is just very upset with her, and he's holding her proposal in hand. And so when they open up the proposal, they see that the proposal has just this filthy language about the boss, and so it's assumed that since it's Amanda's proposal, that Amanda had written it and put it on his desk. And so the boss is very upset, and Amanda was able to prove it by going back to her desk and printing the proposal just one more time. And they both saw that there is no such language in the proposal, and they thought that it's just some silly joke that someone else did and tried to kind of frame her. So then she goes home to Ed and she's telling him about her day, and then she's interrupted by the tapping sound that goes around the house. And so they get up and they try to look for the source of the sound, and they cannot find it. And so they decide that it's either mice or it's pipes, because the house is so old. So they think that it's one or another. So they kind of don't pay too much attention to that. And so then kind of things start to build up from there. Amanda starts seeing strange dreams. There is a woman in her dream, and the woman looks very familiar. She looks like a imaginary friend that Amanda had when she was little. And so this woman keeps recurring in her dreams. And then also the last thing that I want to mention, because otherwise I'll tell you the whole book, it's not a very thick book, is that Amanda gets the book in the email. So she ordered the book about architecture, but instead she gets the book about demon possession. And so she kind of opens the book for fun, and there is a 10-questionnaire test to see if you're possessed or not. And so she takes the test, and so the story starts from there. It's a straight time, one timeline story. There is no jumping back and forth between present and future. There's just told from perspective of Amanda, and we already know from the beginning what's going on. There is no mystery around that. We know what's happening to Amanda, and we're just kind of waiting for the ending and how she will deal with that. So the language of this book is really cool. I really liked it. I like that the book is action-packed, because usually when there are stories about exorcism, it's kind of a slow build, and then you get the ending, and it's usually not even a great ending. And this book compensates for that because it's so short, because it's action filled, and the way it's written. I really like the language of the book. It's a good read, just because how the book's structured and how the book written. So I highly recommend. And then the other book that I wanted to recommend is The Head Full of Ghosts by Tremblay. So the book follows Barrett's, the family of four. It's mother, father, and two daughters. One 14 years old named Margaret, and one is 8 years old named Mary. So Marjorie begins to display signs of schizophrenia. Psychiatrist said that there is no way to help her, and the family is also in financial debt. They're struggling, and so they decide to go to church. So they ask for help from this priest, and he agrees to help, but also to resolve the financial situation. They allow this camera crew to record all of the exorcist process and put it as a TV show, but so that way they can pay for the bills. And so the story is told 15 years after by the younger sister Mary. And this story is not kind of straight line, so we jumped back and forth. We see everything from the perspective of Mary, who is now 23 years old, and her her point of view when she was 8 years old and what she remembers. We also have a blogger who watched the TV show, and she has like her own perspective. She kind of references all of this pop culture and all of the different sources and compares it to those sources and kind of like questions whether it's real or not. At least on Goodreads, I read that many people were not happy about the addition of the blogger, and I watched the interview with Paul Tremblay, and he said that the blogger was there to kind of like muddy the water, because we don't know if Marjorie is really possessed or if she is just trying to get attention, if she really has some psychological issues. We have no idea, and we kind of like try to get these answers from like these different points of view and try to dig and see what's real and what's not. So that's why it's there. Also, another interesting fact that I found out from watching the interview with Paul Tremblay is that he said back, I think this book was written in 2015, he was writing a different story, and he just happened to see the story about exorcism, and he thought that it would be a good idea to write another book about exorcism, because he said that I haven't seen a really good book about exorcism since this book, since Come Closer. So he Come Closer was written in 2006, this one 2015, but it's two completely different books. This ending, we kind of like know where it's going. This, we have no idea, and what's waiting for you there in the end is just awesome. It's like really great ending, one of the best. After I read this book, I picked 2 more books by him just because how good it was. I thought it's very unique. Both books I thought are very interesting read. It's just and they're completely different reads, but it's worth trying one or another or both if you haven't read it, and just see where it takes you. Just a disclaimer, if you don't read a lot of horror or thriller books, there are a lot of scenes that are very bothering. So if you are not ready for that, please do not pick up these books. So I have Head Full of Ghosts by Paul Tremblay and Come Closer, 2 awesome books. If you haven't read, please read. Please leave a comment if you know another book that is also really great, or put like if you read one or another and you liked it. Please let me know if there's anything you'd like to add. Please like the video and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.